welcome the brilliant Minahil Temur, also known as Minoctopus.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, it's an honor to be here. I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound crazy to a lot of you, but I think that Pakistan is the best place to be in right now. Not the worst, not broken, but the best. But Minahil, Pakistan is filled with corruption at every level. Our bureaucracy is slow, bloated, our rupee keeps devaluating, there's nepotism, there's crumbling roads, there's unreliable internet, smog, noise, and don't even get me started on gender inequality. But is that all there is? Growing up, I was told, well, we're all told that success meant leaving. Go abroad, they said. There's no future here. And I believed them. Because when you're told the same hopeless story over and over and over again, it becomes a truth. I was that textbook kid who would be successful abroad. Remember that ideal, highly unrealistic student all of our parents wanted to become, who would love to study, who would always be buried in books, who would ace every single test they gave? Well, I was that student. But to my defense, I realized what I wanted to do really early in life. I wanted to learn everything I could, and I wanted to share that knowledge with as many people as possible. Now, I heard this story, and I kept hearing the same sentence over and over again, that my potential is being wasted here. Like, I need to go to an Ivy League university and study with teachers who give me the level of knowledge that I need. That Pakistan just wasn't enough for me, and then that I needed to go outside. I kept hearing this, but in my head it just didn't make sense. Something kept bothering me. It was the systems of Pakistan that made me realize my potentials. It was my teachers, my classrooms, my books that made me love education. So if you say that I need to leave Pakistan, this is the very place that gave me my potential. The very place you're asking me to leave gave me my reason why. Now, I didn't know how to explain it back then, but I know something was wrong with this there's a better world out there narrative that we're told our entire lives. Now, by then school was over and I needed to choose a major for my undergrad. I was always fascinated by how cars work. The engine takes what? Fuel and air and creates so much speed and power and in so many different ways. I wanted to learn all about this, so I chose mechanical engineering. And at that point in life, I was hit with a very different reality of the world. Girls don't do mechanical engineering. And it wasn't until I stepped foot in NAS that I realized this. I was alone in a class of 100 boys. It completely baffled my mind. I couldn't wrap my head around why. Because up until that point, in any educational or professional setting, I had never thought of myself as a girl. I had never felt different from the other gender, neither in my head nor in the way that people dealt with me. And the surprising thing is, I still don't. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, it sometimes doesn't to me as well, but when everyone around me keeps saying that Pakistan is the worst nation to live in, I hear them, I understand them, but I just don't believe them. When everyone around me keeps saying that women have it so much worse than men in this evil, cruel, sexist world, I hear them, I understand them, but I just don't believe them. Because even when I was alone in a class of 100 boys for 4 years, yes, I was treated differently, but to say that I was discriminated against, that me being a girl made any possible difference to my education, I failed to see it. And by then I had graduated and I joined Descom at their manufacturing facility in Lahore. They make these big mechanical parts like heat exchangers and boilers. These things are huge. And there I realized another reality. Women don't work in manufacturing. I was one of only 2 girls on the entire shop floor. That's the factory where they make these mechanical parts. All the laborers were men, the supervisors were men, the management, all men. But again, my thoughts were heard, my ideas held value. I was given projects. I used to drive to the office 2 hours alone in my car every single day. I felt safe. And then after a year, I wanted to do something more, so I joined labs from my MBA. And there I was able to realize why I still have hope for Pakistan, why I don't feel discriminated because I'm a woman, why I don't entirely believe the story I've been told my whole life. I realized why, even though I've heard the words, this country has no future, 1,000 times, I never internalized it. And I realized that maybe, just maybe, It's not that I've been naive. Maybe it's that the rest of us have been telling the wrong story. As students of science, we're told very early on that nothing is absolute. Everything is on a relative scale. So when you say that Pakistan is failing, is it because we don't look like London? We don't have skyscrapers like New York? It's like we were given a measuring tape that was never made for us, and we're using it to measure our entire existence. We forget that we were colonized. The British might have left, but our minds are still colonized. Our standards, our sense of success, our definition of modern, it's all boiled, all broken. We act like we failed because we're not like the West, but what if the failure isn't thinking that we should be? We forget how different we are. Our culture, our food, our family structures, our art, our humor, even the way we tell stories, it's so different. Our climate is different, our history is different, our needs are different. So why are we imposing Western blueprints onto our lives, our careers, even our buildings? These square-shaped, low-ceiling rooms that we cramp ourselves in and call them modern, these don't work here. Remember those high-ceiling rooms, verandas, courtyards that breathe, thick walls that held in the cold? The kind that we saw during Akbar's time, the kind that the Mughals perfected. That architecture made sense because it was us. It was made for our climate, our people. It represented who we are. And now we copy these old glass buildings from America, these tiny box houses with no airflow, no personality. That's not progress. It's just imitation. We've been so busy trying to look like the West that we've forgotten what we look like. I mean, and our people, like everybody is sitting here, our people are so incredible. I remember I went on this exchange program to Italy, and there I met people from all over the world. But what I realized was that at that time I was most grateful for the people that we have here. You walk out of your door in Europe or anywhere else, nobody looks like you. Even when you get their nationality, your shiny new passport, you'll never be a part of them. You'll always be a part of us, and we're so beautiful, so warm. Compassion is woven so deeply into our daily lives that we forget to acknowledge it. Maybe it's because we live so close to our families, maybe it's the Asian in us, but the canteen uncle who gave us free food when we forgot our pocket money, to the senior men at work that made space for my voice. Considering all the flaws that we highlight about Pakistan, terrorism, corruption, chaos, look around you right now and tell me if there's a single person in this room who highlights the flawed Pakistan we talk about. If this room is filled with intellectual, kind, driven people, these people are also Pakistan. How can you hate a country when it's filled with people like you guys? The media keeps playing the same old record of us being on the brink of failure at any given moment. I don't see that Pakistan until I turn on the TV. There is so much goodness here, so much resilience, so much untapped genius. I've seen it, I felt it. I can see it right now. It's like we act like we failed, but we forget that we were colonized. The thing that frustrates me the most is that we're only 80 years old. America and Europe, they've had centuries, we've had one. And most of it was spent cleaning up a mess that we didn't even make. If you want a relative scale, then use the same standards. When America was 80 years old, there was civil war. Child labor was everywhere. Slavery was still legal. And the United Kingdom, when it was 80 years old, it was busy colonizing the entire world. Women had no legal identity separate from their husbands. And now let's talk about Pakistan. In just 80 years, we've built a nation that works. We have systems that are so well integrated together. We have the world's largest irrigation system. We are one of only 9 countries in the entire world to become a nuclear power. We have a globally respected military. We have institutes like the ED Foundation that has the largest volunteer ambulance network in the entire world. Despite wars, despite political instability, despite natural disasters. We've launched satellites, we've exported billions in IT, we've cultivated a youth that is so fiercely optimistic and entrepreneurial. For a nation that's younger than most grandparents, that's no small feat. Thank you. It's like whenever we see problems here in Pakistan, we see that we can only focus on what we don't make, that we don't manufacture anything, we don't make cars, we don't make phones, we don't make electronics apps. There's so much that we don't do. But that's not a failure, that's a gap, and every gap is an opportunity. When nobody is doing anything, anything you do will do wonders. And that's exactly what I did. I want to become a professor, but I have to get a PhD, and that takes time. But I really, really want to teach right now. And I realized that's not the only way to teach. There's an entire population in Pakistan that does not have access to quality education. And all I want to do is spread my knowledge. So what do? I started this YouTube channel 4 months ago where I share optimistic educational content in Urdu, where I explain really complex topics and make them really easy to understand so anyone of any caliber can get it. There was this huge gap and there was a massive opportunity, but nobody was doing anything about it. And in just 4 months, I got over 30,000 subs on YouTube, 40,000 on Instagram, and over 1.1 million views. In my head, the idea that I had was not groundbreaking, but it did blow up because nobody else was doing it. And you know the surprising thing? Everyone thought I was Indian. They couldn't fathom the fact that someone from Pakistan would make content like that. Why does the world not think that we're capable of anything? You know why? It's what we've made them believe because it's what we believe in. You know what the smartest people do when there's blood on the streets and everything is at its lowest? They go and invest in the stock market. When everyone has left the market, the stocks have plummeted, nobody believes in the system anymore. That's when the real investors invest. Take 2008, the global financial crisis. The entire world was celebrating before it. American stocks were breaking record after record. Banks were giving out terrible loans. Everyone thought the party would never end, and I'm saying the entire world believed in this fallacy. And then a few people, just a handful, the smart, the curious, the stubborn, they saw something that nobody else saw. They saw this hype, and they realized that the system is broken. And what did they do? They shorted the market. They bet all their money on the market failing. They bet against the noise. And when the crash came, they made more money than anyone can even fathom. Why? They were able to see the opportunity where it really lay. Everyone is so eager to leave, to go to a place where the roads are paved, the companies are built, the systems are already working. But let me ask you this. Would a horse be more successful competing against other horses on a professional track or running alone in a field where there's no one even competing? That's Pakistan, a wide open field. The race here hasn't even begun yet. The institutes aren't built, and the gaps, they're massive. I've lived this life not because I'm different than you, but in my head, things are different. I never saw myself as a girl in engineering. I never thought that being a woman, I was limited or less. I didn't carry the story that the world was against me, so I was able to see a world that was with me. And maybe that's why I didn't feel held back. Maybe that's why I was able to focus on learning, on building, on showing up fully as me. That's the power of your mindset. If you don't believe in the world in the place that you live in, how will you ever be able to see how incredible it can be? What if it's not broken? What if it's just a beginning? If you want a better system, be the first one to do it. You want more innovation? Then do it yourself. You want better representation? Take up space, speak, show up. If we don't change the way that we see Pakistan, it won't change the way the world sees Pakistan. And I believe that it's not the nation that's broken. It's just a story that we keep telling. And it's time that we change that story. Thank you.